The Unbreakable Mind, A Stoic's Journey to Mastery. Chapter 1. The Fall of Marcus Velius. The grand city of Rome bustled with life, yet Marcus Velius, once a respected general, found himself cast aside. Betrayed by those he trusted, stripped of his rank and thrown into exile, he wandered through the crumbling remains of a forgotten temple. The world he had built was gone, and with it, his sense of purpose. Sitting beneath the cold marble gaze of an ancient philosopher's statue, Marcus clenched his fists. Rage burned within him. How could they? How could fate be so cruel? An old man, draped in a simple toga, stepped forward from the shadows. Fate has not wronged you, Marcus. You have merely been shown the truth. Marcus scoffed. And what truth is that? That power is fleeting? That loyalty is an illusion? The old man smiled. The truth that all external things, power, status, wealth, are but shadows. The only Chapter 2. The Lessons of Epictetus. The old man introduced himself as Lucius, a Stoic philosopher. Nowhere to go and nothing left to lose, Marcus followed him to a modest dwelling outside the city. There, his real training began. Control what you can, accept what you cannot, Lucius said as he handed Marcus a cup of water. If I were to strike this from your hands, would your anger change what has happened? Marcus gritted his teeth. Number. But it is natural to feel anger. Lucius nodded. It is natural, but it is not necessary. The wise man does not let emotions govern his actions. He chooses his response. For weeks, Marcus trained, not in the art of war, but in the art of the mind. He learned to detach from desires, to embrace discomfort, and to see misfortune not as a curse, but as an opportunity for growth. Chapter 3. The Test of Adversity. One evening, as Marcus fetched water from the river, a gang of thieves approached. Look at this fallen warrior, one sneered. What a pitiful sight. Marcus felt his old instincts flare. He could fight them, but was it worth it? Instead, he stood firm. Take what you will. I own nothing but my peace. Confused, the thieves hesitated. A man without fear was an unsettling sight. They took a few items but left him unharmed. When Marcus returned, Lucius merely smiled. You have won your first battle, but I lost my possessions. Lucius placed a hand on his shoulder. And yet you remain unbroken. That is true strength. Chapter 4. The Return to Rome. Years passed, and Marcus became a different man. Word of his wisdom spread, and soon, even those who had betrayed him sought his counsel. One day an envoy arrived. The emperor requests your presence. Rome is in turmoil. He needs your guidance. Marcus returned, not as a warrior, but as a sage. The Senate expected revenge, but Marcus simply said, What has happened, has happened. I hold no anger. My only goal is to serve wisdom. His enemies were baffled. Without hatred to manipulate, they had no power over him. Chapter 5. The Legacy of a Stoic. Under Marcus's guidance, Rome saw a period of peace. People sought his teachings, and he became a beacon of resilience. One day, a young man approached him. Master, what is the greatest victory? Marcus smiled. To conquer oneself. And so the legacy of the Stoic warrior lived on, not in battles won, but in minds freed from suffering. Chapter 6. The Emperor's Trial. As Marcus's influence grew, he was summoned by the emperor himself. Rome stood on the brink of war, and the emperor sought his counsel. Marcus, should we strike our enemies before they strike us? Marcus pondered. Fear drives you to war, not wisdom. What can be won through patience that cannot be won through bloodshed? The emperor scoffed. You speak as if the world is fair. Marcus shook his head. Not fair, but just. An empire built on fear will crumble beneath its own weight. Choose strength through virtue. not through force. Chapter 7. The Stoics' Last Stand. A conspiracy arose to remove Marcus, for his wisdom threatened the power-hungry elite. A faction within the Senate accused him of treason. He stood trial before Rome. Marcus Velleius, you have counseled against war, against ambition. Do you deny being a threat to Rome? A senator sneered. Marcus stood firm. I am a threat only to those who seek power without wisdom. The people whispered. The Senate saw his influence. They had two choices: execute him or embrace his teachings. Chapter 8. The Immortal Mind. In the end, Marcus was spared but exiled once more. He walked away with a calm mind, knowing he had won his greatest battle, not against enemies but against himself. As he disappeared into the horizon, his words remained, shaping the minds of those who would carry the Stoic torch forward. The only true empire is the one within. Master yourself, and you rule the world.